area of Rafah. The attack comes a day before that planned reopening of the Rafah crossing. And President Donald Trump says Iran is conducting serious negotiations with the United States, but he is not saying whether he has decided to launch a military strike against Iran. The president has warned the U.S. could take military action if Tehran does not agree to negotiate a nuclear deal. He made similar threats during Iran's violent crackdown on anti-government protests. Now he's avoiding questions about specific military plans.
I certainly can't tell you that, but we do have very big, powerful ships heading in that direction, as you know. I can't tell you,
Okay.
But I hope they negotiate something that's acceptable.
As talks and threats continue, the U.S. is sending a message by boosting its military presence in the region. That includes moving the Lincoln Carrier Strike Group to the northern Arabian Sea to assist any potential military action that Trump decides to make. Iran's supreme leader warned this morning that any attack by the U.S. would spark a regional war in the Middle East. Millions of people are under cold weather advisories this weekend as another winter storm hits the East Coast. As CBS's Christian Benavides reports, the Carolinas, Tennessee, and Georgia experienced powerful winds and heavy snow.
Another blast of winter weather has left parts of the Southeast blanketed in snow. On Interstate 85 in North Carolina, more than 100 vehicles were left stranded after a crash involving a tractor-trailer. In Raleigh, officials warned about the potential for frostbite.
Layering is very important, and just making sure that you go inside and take breaks when you can. Let your body kind of warm up again.
Whiteout conditions were reported across the Carolinas, with some areas forecasted to see up to 18 inches this weekend.
This is probably the most snow that I've seen here since 2018, so I think this is going to surpass that.
Just outside of Charlotte, video captured the moment where a train collided with the front of an 18-wheeler. In Tennessee, resident Terry Miles is one of thousands still without power since last weekend's snowstorm.
I've been cold. This is the coldest and the worst I've ever been in my damn life.
With another round of frigid weather now hitting the South, the Nashville Electric Service doesn't know yet when power and heat will be back for some of their customers.
We're having to dig our infrastructure out from under trees that's froze to the ground.
Flurries and sub-freezing wind chills are being felt in Alabama, Georgia, and as far south as Florida. Light snow fell in Tallahassee. The Sunshine State is seeing its coldest temperatures in more than a decade. Christian Benavides, CBS News.
And there are travel delays across the country as well. The NBA announced the San Antonio Spurs team experienced travel issues because of the inclement weather, leading to their home match up against the Orlando Hornets today to be delayed. It's 8:09 on WBOC News this morning. You're getting a live look into Cambridge from our FH4 camera. Mike, the snow dove to our south, but the wind impacts on Delmarva are still being felt today.
If you haven't opened the door yet, don't if you don't have to.
Absolutely not.
But I know a lot of us are getting ready for Sunday morning services, so plenty of extra layers are going to be a good idea as you're out and about this morning, because it is frigid when you factor in the wind that is howling this morning in areas. Here's a look at storm tracker radar over the last few hours. And it's just disrespectful by Mother Nature to be like, oh, it's going to snow in the low levels of the atmosphere, just not reach the ground. Dry air, the storm diving south, getting pushed down to the south by this cold blast of air that came in over the last couple of days. It is what it is, friends. Live storm tracker radar is quiet. You can see the snow actually got into Virginia Beach. Actually had a little bit of light snow across Accomack and Northampton County. Didn't amount to much. If you have friends in the Outer Banks, check on them because they got a whole lot of snow. Somewhere in the neighborhood of a foot in some places across eastern North Carolina, even a few inches as far south as Myrtle Beach. And I zoom us into Tampa this morning because between the hours of 4 and 5 o'clock this morning, they had snow flurries for the first time since 2010 in Tampa. That's the kind of cold air that is funneling in behind this storm system, and we'll feel it throughout the course of the day today. We'll be in the 20s for highs. Wind chill values will be in the single digits and teens. Overnight tonight, temperatures will start to dip back into the teens. We'll see wind chill values once again into the single digits. Some of us will wind chills below zero. We actually have an extreme cold warning for Accomack County because we're forecasting those below zero wind chill values. Everybody else under a cold weather advisory, because the criteria farther north, you get to below zero. That's what the criteria is for cold weather advisories. Have the WBOC weather app handy, sponsored by Hertrick. You get those severe weather alerts for the really cold air right to your fingertips as well. There is a piece of good news as we speak this morning. We get to freezing tomorrow. All right. And then we get to 40 in some places on Tuesday. That's even better. And then Mother Nature goes, oh, yeah, that's right. I'm giving you guys too much. So how about a little light snow chance for the morning hours of Wednesday? Little clipper system swinging on through. And then we'll be watching another piece of energy to swing through the area for Friday into Saturday. That may bring us a little light snow across the area for Friday night, Saturday, but that brings us another blast of Arctic air, which will settle in for the weekend and early next week. So enjoy being above freezing while we have it for a couple of days this coming week.
Mother Nature is being cruel to us. And you know, dealing with the cold this week and knowing that it's not going away really has me thinking of that day a few weeks ago where it was like 60 degrees.
Yes.
And what a tease that was.
Yes. Mother Nature was like, here's a little bit because I'm about to punish you guys.
She's playing tricks on all of us.
I mean, I agree with the comments. If it's going to be this cold, let's let it just snow forever.
Might as well.
Yes.
I mean, as long as we don't have the ice.
Agreed.
Okay, and still to come, a look at why dental hygiene is so important, plus the danger posed by measles as cases in the U.S. skyrocket. WBOC News This Morning continues right after this. Affects millions of people in the U.S. Oral pain can impact quality of life, lead to bigger health problems later on. But experts say many people dismiss their symptoms. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither explains why you should never ignore tooth pain.
You use it to eat and talk, but having a healthy mouth is worth much more than just a pretty smile.
It's about an investment in your overall health and well-being.
Dr. Stephen Katz with the American Association of Endodontists says patients don't often realize that oral health plays a big role in overall health.
If you have healthy teeth, that you can improve your cardiovascular health, you can reduce your risk of diabetes, and you can improve your cognitive function as you age.
Despite those reasons, officials say oral health in U.S. adults hasn't changed much the past 2 decades. About 90% of adults between the ages of 20 to 64 have some tooth decay, and nearly half of adults between 45 and 64 years of age have gum disease. Some may dismiss tooth pain due to lack of insurance, as about 1 in 4 working age adults don't have it. Others may dread getting care. About 1 in 5 adults have moderate to high dental fear and anxiety.
The fact that people say that root canals are painful is really a myth.
Katz says new techniques, advanced technologies, and improved local anesthesia now make the procedure pain-free, quick, and easy.
If you need a root canal, don't be hesitant to go.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Cases of the measles has skyrocketed this month. The CDC released updated reporting yesterday that at least 588 cases of the disease have been reported in January, the figure indicating that the U.S. has seen more cases in just the past few weeks than is typically reported in a year. At least 17 states have reported measles cases this year. The majority of the cases stem from an outbreak of the illness in South Carolina. That outbreak alone reported 847 cases since October. The CDC recommends Americans receive 2 doses of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine in childhood. Meanwhile, new health data shows flu activity in the United States has ticked back up a bit. According to an epidemiologist, Americans are seeing a second peak and rebound in the flu. Officials say the current pattern is similar to last year's, when flu cases surged in late February after dropping. This new trend is concentrated in children, but with adults next in line to likely be affected. And the extreme winter weather also plays a role in current flu trends. Experts say even if you've already had the flu this year, it's possible to get it again if you catch another strain. A windy and cold day ahead of us to end the weekend. We're taking a live look into Ocean City from our camera sponsored by Dry Tech. Still ahead on WBOC News this morning, Mike's going to break down the forecast, let us know how our Sunday is shaping up. Plus, we'll preview this week's episode of the Delmarva Home Show. WBOC News this morning will be right back. It's 8:18.
Hi there, friends. On this Sunday morning, yes, on this Sunday morning, Close, but no cigar. Mother Nature bringing the pain down to the south with the snow. We did actually have snow flying in the low levels of the atmosphere, but we have so much dry air in place with this cold air that continues to spill in that it just suppressed the storm down to the south. And folks in the Carolinas, into South Carolina, into Hampton Roads, they got some snow, and they got a good amount of snow on the Outer Banks. Here, unfortunately, didn't happen, friends. We're in the teens this morning. Notice that the dew points are in the single digits. Then you've got to factor in the wind that we've got out the door this morning, which is gusting between 30 and 40, actually a 43 mile per hour wind gust there on Tangier Island, making things feel like we are below zero. That wind's going to be around for much of the day. We could see gusts out towards the beach and the bays, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Inland, gusts to 40 miles per hour are possible, especially through the morning hours. But notice, as we wake up tomorrow morning, the wind will still be there. Granted, not as strong as it was during the course of today, but it is still going to be there, friends. And the other big issue is this possibility of some beach erosion and coastal flooding from the big time waves that we are going to see as this storm continues to bomb out at sea. Live look from our Gateway Subaru camera on the Commander Hotel showing you a lot of cloud cover overhead. That cloud deck's going to break apart with time, and it's the frosted over and the windy face on Smilecast with temperatures in the 20s. We're forecasting temperatures to be in the teens. Wind chills will be either in the single digits, maybe even close to zero. We do have cold weather advisories and extreme cold warnings for this morning because of the wind chills that we have right now, which are below zero. We're dry for the next couple of days. Little clipper system arrives as we go into Wednesday. Could bring us a brief period of snow in the morning hours of Wednesday, something that we'll have to fine tune. And then Mother Nature is going to try to throw another little clipper system at us as we work our way into Friday night and early on Saturday. That could also bring us a little snow as well. All right, there's got to be some good news in this forecast, right? We finally get temperatures above freezing for a couple of days. And in fact, on Tuesday, we could see temperatures well into the 30s and some of us the low 40s. Oh, by the way, that second snow chance for Friday night and Saturday, that comes with an Arctic front that brings us back into the 20s and 30s for highs as we head into early next week.
Lauren tours a 3-level waterfront condo in Rehoboth Beach on this week's episode of the Delmarva Home Show.
Coming up this week on the Delmarva Home Show, we're touring a luxurious lakefront townhome in Rehoboth Beach. This home was designed with an inverted floor plan to maximize views and living space. The kitchen is a chef's dream, the owner's suite is a true sanctuary, and there's an open living room with vaulted ceilings. There's also a beautiful screened-in porch, which is the perfect place to take in those breathtaking lake views. And we've got a new real estate top performer segment discussing the 2026 housing market. You can watch the Delmarva Home Show today at 11:30 a.m. on WBOC.
Longhorn Steakhouse is entering the jewelry business.
Okay.
This might be the perfect gift if you have a steak lover in your life. The restaurant chain is launching limited edition steak commitment rings, handcrafted with real Longhorn steak and seasoning.
I don't know how I feel about that part. The stones are designed to match your preferred doneness from rare to well done. The rings go on sale February 4th for $50 and include free shipping, because that's what it's all about these days, is that free shipping.
It is the free shipping. Now, what do you think about this? You've got a Valentine. Is this something
I mean, Kendra getting a steak ring, I don't know how she would feel about it, but as long as it's with medium rare, she'll be fine.
As long as it's the right level of doneness?
I think so.
I'm not a jewelry girl generally, so I'd rather just get a steak. Can I just have a steak dinner?
Right, exactly.
There we
Like,
go.
I know how to treat Kendra right. I always take her out for steak
There you
dinners.
go. She's going to have a good Valentine's Day, guys.
Great Valentine's Day. You're out the door this morning. It is cold. And it's also a little disrespectful by Mother Nature to tease us with white on live storm tracker radar, which means that there are flurries flying in the low levels of the atmosphere, just not reaching the ground. Oh, and then you factor in the wind, which is gusting at times between 30 and 40 miles per hour. It feels like it's below zero. So as you prepare to head out for Sunday morning services, just be aware of how cold it is, friends. Here's a live look into the frozen tundra of Dover from our Bay Health Kent campus camera. It's 15 degrees. When you factor in that wind, which has been gusting to about 35 miles per hour this morning, it feels like it's -3. Later today, we'll only see highs into the 20s, wind chill values in the teens across the area, and some single digits still later on today as well. If you have to be out and about today, just all the extra layers. And I said it jokingly, but I'm actually not. If you could find a way to stuff a blanket in there as well, probably be smart. Just layer up if you have to be out and about this morning. And don't forget the extremities. Yes. Cover the extremities, please.
Maybe some hand warmers,
yes.
You know, whatever you can do.
Yes. We'll be right back.
Delmarva. This is WBOC News This Morning, Delmarva's news leader.
Good morning. Welcome to WBOC News this morning. I'm Grace Harmon. It's 8:30 on this Sunday, February 1st. And taking a live look into Easton from our Hertrick automotive camera, a big concern is the push out of water from the Chesapeake Bay and the threat of a blowout tide. And for more on what that means, let's turn to Chief Meteorologist Mike Lichniak. Good morning, Mike.
Well, hi there, Grace, and good afternoon, or good morning to everybody else. Yeah, on the beach side, we're worried about coastal flooding, beach erosion for a couple high tide cycles. In the Chesapeake Bay, we've actually been pushing water out for the last couple high tide cycles. So we actually have low water advisories being issued for parts of the Chesapeake Bay, and all that water has to come rushing back in. And as it does so, you've got all that ice on the Chesapeake too, and in some of the waterways around that would get pushed up as well. Something to keep in mind over the coming high tide cycles. We're in the teens right now. Wind chills are below zero because we have wind gusts 30 to 40 miles per hour. So if you're heading out for morning services this morning, all the extra layers are a good idea. We'll talk about the work week forecast in a bit.
And to get the latest on those freezing temperatures, make sure to download the WBOC weather app. You'll find our forecast right on the home screen. It's available for free on Apple and Android devices, driven by Hertrick. In Accomack County, a large fire destroyed part of the historic Onancock School. The Onancock Volunteer Fire Department says Saturday morning around 7 a.m. they got reports of smelling smoke. When firefighters arrived, there was thick smoke throughout the second floor. Fire officials say a room in the basement was destroyed and there was damage to a small part of the first floor as well. They say there is no clear cause for the fire yet, but they did not see evidence pointing to foul play either. It took 7 fire stations 2.5 hours to stop the fire and clear the scene. There were no injuries. And the nonprofit who owns and runs the historic Onancock School says they are closed for now, but are already working to repair and rebuild there in Accomack County. And moving over to how the weather is affecting the coast, we are joined by Coast TV News reporter Kevin Zappé in Ocean City. And Kevin, we've got some pros, we've got some cons to how the weather is impacting town, how things changed. What can you tell us?
Grace, we are live here in Ocean City, and we have some good news, bad news, and things to look out for when it comes to the weather in town. Now, first off, the good news. For the most part, the roads are clear of any snow, and any snow that you do see still was all from last weekend. Now for the bad news. It is freezing cold and super windy. If I could describe to you how cold it is outside, imagine you lock yourself into a walk-in freezer and turn on 2 or 3 of the largest fans you can think of. That is the sort of feeling. So if you prefer the warmth and feeling your fingers and toes, I would prefer to stay inside or to layer up before going outside. And another thing to keep an eye on, something to look out for throughout the day, is the possible erosion happening along the coast. Just check out the rough waves behind me. Now that is something we will be keeping an eye on throughout the day, and if erosion is happening up and down the coast. Back to you.
Get warm. Kevin Zappé live in Ocean City. Thank you very much. Let's take a live look at the Bay Bridge, where you can see visible ice in the water around the pilings. If you see ice on any waterways, remember that it is never safe to walk on. Making headlines this morning, a federal judge has ordered the release of 5-year-old Liam Conjeros Ramos and his father from a Texas detention center. The order states the two must be released by Tuesday as their immigration case proceeds through the courts. Liam and his father have been detained for more than a week after they were taken by immigration agents from their suburban Minneapolis driveway, which made headlines. The detention of the preschooler has fed mounting outrage over the Trump administration's immigration crackdown in Minneapolis. Family members and school administrators have accused ICE of using Liam as bait to capture his parents. Immigration officials say his mother was steps away but refused to take her son. There was a mass shooting yesterday at a Mardi Gras parade in Louisiana. At least 5 people were shot, including a 6-year-old child. There's no word yet on their conditions. The shooting happened just as the parade had started. Authorities arrested 3 people. It is unclear what sparked the violence. Local police are investigating. It's 8:35 on WBOC News this morning. We're taking a live look into Rehoboth from our Boardwalk Plaza hotel camera. Mike, the wind definitely hurts as you're walking outside this morning. Don't want to get out on that boardwalk if you can help it.
No, and I've been stressing and kind of joking that you need to put a blanket in between you and your coat when you walk outside.
But maybe.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you should.
Because it is frigid with that wind howling at times. And don't forget the extremities, friends. Don't forget to cover up the face, Don't forget to wear the gloves or the mittens because you will definitely need them during the course of the day today, not just this morning, friends. Here's a look at storm tracker radar over the last few hours. And I think the most disrespectful part about Mother Nature is if she's going to make me miss the forecast, at least take all the snow with you. Don't just let it linger on radar and have it being flurrying above us because the dry air at the surface doesn't allow it to get to the ground. Like that's just like, that's the worst of it. We're quiet on live storm tracker radar. There's that little bit of snow that we did see across parts of Accomack and Northampton County. Hasn't amounted to much. The bigger story for us as this bomb cyclone continues to move out to sea. Yes, that's a correct term for this storm because this storm has dropped 24 millibars of pressure in less than 24 hours. So that's the term that we use to describe this storm in meteorology. It brought plenty of snow across the Carolinas, and it's continuing to drag in some colder air out of Canada to the point where as it gets dragged across Tampa Bay, there were flurries this morning in Tampa Bay. First time since 2010 that occurred. Kind of cool. Just makes you shiver because you know how cold the air has got to be here in order for it to snow down there, right? We're in the 20s for highs today. When you factor in the wind throughout the course of the day, it's going to feel like the single digits and low teens. By later this evening and tonight, we'll clear out the sky. Temperatures will fall back into the teens. Wind chill values will be in the single digits and low teens. We have a cold weather advisory for this morning for most of us, actually an extreme cold warning in Accomack County through 10 o'clock this morning. For the latest on the forecast, as always, get the WBOC weather app sponsored by Hertrick. Live storm tracker radar at your fingertips. And again, when we update the 7-day, the first place it goes to is right to that app. So you actually get to see the 7-day updated before we even show it on TV. Kind of cool, right? This is a sight for sore eyes after how cold it has been, friends. Temperatures getting to or above freezing for a couple of days. Hallelujah. But Mother Nature goes, oh, it comes with a price. There's going to be a little light snow. Right now looking like the morning hours of Wednesday. Shouldn't amount to much at the moment. And another blast of Arctic air comes in for Friday night and Saturday. Could trigger off a little light snow for us for Friday night into early on Saturday. And then we're in the 20s and 30s again for the weekend and into early next week.
Yeah, definitely strange to think about folks down in Tampa seeing some flurries. We don't have it here.
Right. That's the other ironic part is that it's snowing in Florida, or at least flurrying in Florida. We can't even get that here.
I know. I must say, I'm not that mad about it.
I'm not.
I know it's this cold, so you might as well have the snow, but.
And I know that there's a lot of snow lovers out there that saw the GFS model 5 days ago. Were like, this is awesome,
Yeah.
and then it just didn't pan out, which it wasn't going to. But I didn't think we'd get 0 snow.
Yeah, I'm still just manifesting summer coming early.
Me too.
Yeah. In summer in my mind.
I agree.
Year round. Okay, and still to come, we'll take another look at the weather. And WBOC News this morning continues in just minutes. Last night, the federal government is partially shut down. Congress failed to fund some of the country's largest agencies and departments before a Friday night deadline. CBS's Caitlin Huey-Burns reports.
The bill, as amended, has passed.
Hours before the midnight deadline, the Senate passed 5 bills to keep most of the government running through September. But the House is not in session this weekend to vote on the measure that separated Homeland Security funding. It's part of a deal pushed by Democrats.
Senate Democrats will not support a DHS bill unless it reins in ICE and ends the violence.
This after the killings of Alex Preddy and Renee Good by federal agents in Minneapolis. Democrats want the agency reformed, including ending roving patrols of immigration enforcement agents, tightening warrant rules, requiring agents wear body cameras, and the banning of face coverings. This week, President Trump said he's staying the course on immigration enforcement. He's also now praising his DHS secretary, writing last night on social media, "I was elected on strong borders and law and order, among other things. Thank you to Secretary Kristi Noem." Some Republicans are open to reforms at Homeland Security, but also have demands of their own.
I'm willing to entertain some reforms to make sure that we rein in ICE appropriately and make it more professional. But the cancer that we're dealing with is sanctuary city policy.
Hi there, friends. Good morning to you on this Sunday morning. Mother Nature's just a tease at this point. On clouds and radar, showing that the flurry action, snow in the low levels of the atmosphere actually made it into portions of Worcester County, Wicomico County, didn't make it to the ground. Down to the south, maybe a little light snow across Accomack and Northampton counties. The bullseye was North Carolina with this storm. They got copious amounts of it from this storm that continues to deepen and get stronger as it pushes out to sea. Cold air coming in right behind the system. We're waking up in the teens. We've got winds as you step out, gusting at times between 30 and 45 miles per hour, making it feel like we are in the negative numbers this morning. So be mindful of that. And it's going to stick around that wind for much of the day, gusting at times between 30 and 40 miles per hour, maybe as strong as 50 mile per hour wind gusts at our beach towns, going to lead to some beach erosion, going to lead to some coastal flooding. And we do have to be on the lookout in the Chesapeake Bay and in the tributaries along the Chesapeake Bay for the possibility of blowout tides. The water has been pushing out of the bay for the last couple of high tide cycles. It's going to return at some point. So that's something to be mindful for as we work through time. Live look from our Gateway Subaru camera on the Commander Hotel. It is the frosted over Smile and the windy face on Smilecast for much of this Sunday. And because of how cold it is out the door this morning and how cold it feels, cold weather advisories, extreme cold warnings in effect for today. Let's try to map things out for the work week ahead. We'll get a couple quiet days here for Monday and Tuesday. In fact, Tuesday, we'll see temperatures into the 30s and 40s. Notice that there's this little weak system that'll be swinging through the area overnight Tuesday into the early morning hours of Wednesday. That could bring us a little light snow. And then we're going to have another blast of Arctic air coming in out of Canada for Friday into Saturday. That could also bring us a little light snow, and that will knock temperatures back to below freezing once again for a few days.
Those cold temps aren't going to slow things down this week. Here's a peek at what's in store for your week ahead.
On Monday, new hours go into effect for the Delaware Division of Motor Vehicles. Officials say the updated operational hours will better serve customers and employees. DMV facilities will close to the public 30 minutes earlier to allow more time for end-of-day processing and other required procedures. The updated hours that take effect Monday are 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, and 11 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Wednesday there in Delaware. Also on Monday, a hearing is scheduled for Arlete Maria Martinez-Carrada. Martinez-Carrada was arrested by ICE in Salisbury back on January 3rd, just days before her teenage son died. According to her attorney, Martinez-Carrada was released on a $12,000 bond and allowed to return to Salisbury with the intent to return to Mexico after formal removal proceedings. On Tuesday, Tidal Health will hold a free advanced care planning webinar. It will focus on the importance of communicating future healthcare wishes in the event that an accident or serious illness prevents someone from making decisions in the moment. A link to the free webinar beginning at 1 p.m. is available on Tidal Health's website. Also on Tuesday, Ocean City Beach Heroes will host its first event of February. The group says its mission is to support Ocean City's litter-free campaign by meeting weekly to collect litter and dispose of it responsibly. Volunteers will meet at the Bayside Rope Walk lot on 82nd Street at 9 a.m. Cleanup supplies for the hour-long cleanup are available at City Hall there in Ocean City. On Wednesday, the Town of Berlin Historic District Commission will hold a meeting in Town Hall. The commission is responsible for analyzing and making recommendations concerning the preservation of sites, structures, or districts of historic, archaeological, architectural, or cultural significance in Berlin. According to the agenda, commissioners will consider 4 cases regarding exterior alterations to property during Wednesday's meeting. The Historic District Commission will convene at 5:30 there in Berlin. On Friday, day 1 of the Fire and Ice Festival kicks off in Sussex County. The weekend-long event is hosted by the Bethany Fenwick Area Chamber of Commerce. Ice sculptures, food trucks, fire pits, live entertainment, and other family-friendly activities are scheduled in multiple towns, including Bethany Beach, Ocean View, and Millville. The event was rescheduled due to last weekend's winter weather. Festival organizers encourage people to check the most current schedule and event updates on social media and online. And that is a peek at your week ahead.
In entertainment news this morning, the 68th Annual Grammy Awards are taking place tonight at Crypto.com Arena in Los Angeles. Stephanie Elam reports.
From Sabrina Carpenter to Pharrell Williams this year, the Grammys is known to be one big concert. It's also known for artists speaking their minds. In the wake of the ICE shootings in Minneapolis, nominee Billie Eilish has called for celebs to speak out against the agency, getting into a war of words with the Department of Homeland Security. Recording Academy chief Harvey Mason Jr. says artists are by definition vocal.
Musicians, we're communicators, we're storytellers. Maybe some people will choose to speak out about it, but you're definitely going to feel it in the music.
Guiding the show will be comedian Trevor Noah, who almost didn't return for his 6th year.
I sent him a video just before Christmas, and I was on my knees, literally. I sort of begged him, and I said, look at this lineup, come and do one last one. And luckily he texted back going, fine, I'm in, can't wait.
Winston expects 25 artists on stage for around a dozen performances, all intricately choreographed by a small army backstage.
Doing the Grammy Awards is like running towards the edge of a cliff. And then you just hope and pray that you've worked hard enough in the run that the parachute opens. But you also know there's that risk that you could also just run off the cliff and smash your face.
Going for Grammy Gold are nominees like Bad Bunny, a week before he headlines a Super Bowl halftime show, as well as Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, and Chappell Roan.
This world
Kendrick Lamar, however, showing that this world just might be his as he leads them all with 9 nominations. The Grammys also working to shed criticism that they are out of touch.
I was a musician, as you know, a member of the Grammy organization, so I had a unique vantage point to understand what needed to change.
Of nearly 4,000 new members added this year to its voting body, half are under 40 and more than half are people of color.
It's the Grammys, baby. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Some beachgoers in Mexico got a surprise visitor last week. Northern elephant seal named Panchito decided to take a beach siesta on Tuesday. Mexican Navy personnel established a security perimeter around the 1,500 to nearly 2,000-pound animal to ensure everyone's safety.
A beach siesta sounds amazing right now.
Does sound really good.
Environmental officials say Panchito appears to be in good health and likely just came ashore to rest.
Okay.
Again, after the misery that has been the last 14 days, where we have not seen 32 degrees on this peninsula.
We're pretty jealous.
Panchito, you've got the right idea, bro.
He really does. I want to just be plopped down on the sand.
Me too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we can't do that today.
Not today,
And
but
not
before too long.
Yeah.
Right? Time flies.
Can we just fast forward to March or April at this point? 20s for highs today, coming off of morning temperatures in the teens. That's not bad. It's the 30 to 40 mile per hour wind gusts that we're waking up to this morning, which is making things feel like it's below 0 at the moment. There's hope, friends, in our 7-day, sponsored by Delmarva Power. 32 Monday, 39 on Tuesday. But of course, Mother Nature, she's going to make us pay for it. A little light snow is possible as we wake up on Wednesday morning.
There we go. She always does. And one Bethany Beach piano player is proof you do not always need a big recording studio to make your own music. He's recording songs to share with the world right from his living room.
For this morning's Heartbeat of Delmarva, Megan Summers gives us a front row seat to this in-home concert.
On a quiet street in Bethany Beach, Ray Joswiak's living room is anything but quiet. These four walls have become his concert hall, his paintings, his audience, and his musings center stage.
People always talk about styles of music, and I really dislike that because genres and all that, I mean, it's all made up, really. I mean, music is music, and there's good music, there's bad music, and that's your call.
Ray's love of music started at a young age. And it's the kind of love that begs to be shared. So he started making songs and putting them online. A quick Google search unlocks his whole discography. As for a muse,
Everything. Anger in this day, you know, whatever crosses your mind, you express yourself if you're any kind of a writer, I think. I'm just kind of stream of consciousness, whatever moves me.
practice makes perfect. The mind is just as much of a muscle as the hands. And just like an athlete trains on the field, Ray trains on the ivories. It's a dedicated practice regimen.
Anytime there's a free moment. Yeah, I play it every day, some days longer than other days. And I do want to, you know, there's a little bit of arthritis here and things like that as you get older, so I want to make sure that I exercise my fingers.
But even after years of training, there's no perfect recipe for success. Ray never knows when a song will be a hit or sound better in the pages of his notebook. It's a delicate dance of trial and error.
You can write a song in an afternoon, or sometimes they stretch out over, you know, a year. I always want to just sit down and have a beautiful thing come out, and that very rarely happens. So, you know, I noodle around now, and sometimes nice things come out.
So if you're ever around Bethany Beach and think you hear a tune or two, remember who might be sitting on the piano bench. For the Heartbeat of Delmarva, I'm Megan Summers.
Nice soundtrack for our Sunday. Yes. Thank you for joining us for WBOC News this morning, and a very special happy 75th birthday to our producer's grandmother, Cynthia. And don't forget, for News Anytime, you can get it now on WBOC.com.
CBS Sunday Morning is next. We'll see you back here for more WBOC News later this evening.